YouTube, what's going on? It's Jamar here, Vegas Sense. I got a brand new video tonight. In this particular video, I'm gonna be giving my review on Scentual Obsession's interpretation of Creed's Sublime Vanille. And that's what the bottle looks like here. This is one of the newer presentation bottles from Scentual Obsessions. I do like these a lot. And pretty much just to get into it, with this particular scent, this scent Sublime Vanille is like a really fresh, citrusy, almost sort of powdery vanilla scent that you can still wear in like warmer weather. So I would say the best time to wear this particular scent would be in like the spring time, probably like spring going into summer. I would say if you live somewhere where it doesn't get like super hot in the summertime, like especially like a lot of like East Coast places, this might still be a pretty good scent that you could probably get good usage out of even in the summertime. But I would say if you live somewhere like here in Las Vegas where it gets over, well over 100 degrees, I don't think I would necessarily reach for this and that type of heat, because even with this being a lighter scent, I do think that this could still get a bit cloying in that type of heat. But just to jump into it, the notes according to Fragrantica, and I have them over here, is top notes of vanilla and vanilla orchid, mid notes of tonka bean, and then in the base, musk, bergamot, and lemon. So pretty much, I mean, when I spray this on, honestly, I don't know if the note breakdown on Fragrantica is like correct or if it's like flipped upside down. I honestly, in the top notes, I get like the lemon, bergamot, and I mean, maybe the musk in the top, but I, for the most part, get lemon and bergamot when I first spray this on. So yeah, when you first spray this on, you get like this really zesty, really fresh, and I would say very natural smelling bergamot and lemon. Now, this is just like how I remember Creed Sublime Vanille smelling when I smelled it in Neiman Marcus not too long ago. Now, obviously, I don't have the original to compare it with, because the original retails for $545 at Neiman Marcus. And I haven't looked for any samples online, but I'm sure they're probably extremely overpriced. So the only thing that I can really do is just go off of my recollection of how the scent smells. And like I said, this definitely smells extremely like, how I remembered the original smelling. Now, one thing that I will also say is this scent overall, whether we're talking about the original or the Scentual Obsessions version, I would say it does bear, a really good resemblance to this scent right here, Van Cleef & Arpels Orchid Vanille. These two scents, they sort of do the same thing, I guess you could say. They're like light vanilla scents that, kind of have like a citrus blast in the top, and then they sort of dry down to almost sort of like a powdery type of vanilla type of scent. I would say though, the Orchid Vanille is definitely, to my nose, it's not really that powdery. I would say this more so is like a more natural smelling vanilla, like that doesn't have any sort of powderiness to it, but that has, I would say, maybe like a chocolate sort of undertone to it. But in the top, these do smell similar, but not exactly alike. Yeah, the Sublime Vanille is definitely a lot more musky and a lot more fresher, I would say. And definitely this is gonna be the scent that you would wanna wear in warmer weather. Now, In terms of performance comparisons between this Scentual Obsessions version and the original has a reputation for having like really bad performance, both longevity and projection. What I can say about this particular interpretation of the scent is I really get very good projection out of this particular fragrance. You know, the scent profile alone is not really something that's gonna push out super far, like over an arm's length or anything like that. But I would say, you know, it probably pushes out about here, so just under arm's length for like maybe the first probably hour and a half or so. And then I would say from that point on up to like maybe the 8-hour point, it's just like a constant scent bubble that you get, especially when your body temperature is sort of heating up and you're moving around. You always get whiffs of this. This is something that I don't like go nose blind to or anything like that. And I will say with the Scentual Obsessions version of the fragrance, it does seem to be something that I would say it is something that's easily oversprayable. So, you know, when you first spray this on, it just sort of smells like this really light, fresh, citrusy type of scent. But I would say don't go over probably 4 sprays, I would say, with this, because as it starts to dry down and that vanilla starts to come out a little bit more and it starts to overtake the citruses, this can definitely become cloying, even I would say in like cooler weather. So definitely don't spray more than like 3 or 4 sprays, I would say, when it's warm outside. Now, in terms of the longevity, I get well over 8 hours with this. You know, I've sprayed this on, you know, at the end of a night before and woken up, you know, in the middle of the next day, and this was still on me, you know. So definitely I'm getting very good performance out of this. Honestly, I would say that even if this fragrance is only maybe 85-90% close to the original, I think you would really have to evaluate, you know, is the original really worth $545 retail? Now, I know you can also get Sublime Vanille from like retailer sites for like around $300. Like, I think that's the lowest that I've seen it. But even at that price, $300 for a fragrance that all over Fragrantica, people are saying that it only lasts maybe about 3 hours or so. That, honestly, in my opinion, there's no way that fragrance is worth it. So this is really a solid interpretation of the fragrance. Like I said, it does smell very much like it. The only way for me to give like an actual percentage, I would say, is I would have to do like a side by side with each one of these. But yeah, man, this is a really nice interpretation. All right. Now, in terms of like when or where you should wear this particular fragrance, this fragrance, I would say, can be worn for any occasion. I would say as long as the temperature or so is anywhere from like 60 to 65 degrees on up to probably about 75 to 80. So as long as you're within that range, which is pretty much like spring to summer type of weather, you know, in most places, I would say this is definitely a scent that you can rock and wear. Anything above that, I would say this might become cloying unless maybe you only do like, I don't know, maybe 2 sprays with it or so. But yeah, this is not something that I would really reach for in like super high heat weather. But this is definitely gonna be something that you can wear to work. You can wear casually, formally, you know, just going out, chilling, whatever. I think this definitely has many uses, and you know, it's definitely something that you can just throw on when you want to just feel clean, fresh, but you know, you want to have just just that little bit of sweetness to whatever you're wearing, because this definitely obviously be, you know, since it has vanilla, it does have some sweetness to it. All right, so if I'm gonna give this particular scent a rating overall, I'm gonna have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Again, with the original costing as much as it costs, and this only costing $35 for a 50 ml bottle, that comes, from what I can remember, extremely close to the original. I really think that this is like a hidden gem of the house for sure. All right, so go ahead and check this one out on the Scentual Obsessions website. It's www.scentualobsessionsperfume.com. That's Jamar here, Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.